evening, and welcome to Mountain Bears on the Psychic Coffee Shop Network. I'm Aeson Knight, and of course, tonight, joining me always is the Techie with Most is techy-ish. How are you, darling?
Doing pretty good. How are you this evening?
Always evil. Just totally completely evil. We did go out and look at the roses today. They are looking gorgeous, Brenda, but no, there's been no additional fertilizer added at this
No,
time.
no. And we didn't pick any up while we were out.
I know I've been very good at not buying extra flowers this year.
I know. Or fertilizer.
Or fertilizer. It's Pride season. It's still early Pride season. That may occur.
Oh my.
There's always a chance of me finding a lovely new set of fertilizer or having to put it in the rose garden.
Hey, there you go. There is that opportunity.
Uh-huh.
Oh my. But yeah, no, it's been a good day. I was on the road today. He was here at the house.
It was
He
enjoyable.
got to clean alone, which
Yes,
I think we all know is the best way to clean.
it is. I may run you two out more often.
Hey, cool deal. I'm behind it.
Yeah. You two then go play. Bye bye. Get out of here.
Especially if I turn around and come home and take you out to eat.
Yes. Oh, we had the most delicious, I didn't mean delicious, guys, Thai food today. And we got some more Happy Planner stuff. You have to wait till Sunday to see that.
Oh, he got a lot of Happy Planner stuff.
Yes.
Yes. Well, and we both managed to find something we had been wanting, needing, like somewhere in the wanting, needing, waiting for a really good deal, and holy crap, there was a good deal.
Exactly.
So it was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was great.
Highly good. All right. So I gave you a smorgasbord of stories. Which ones do you want to go to first?
Oh well, let's just knock out the tech news
Yes.
and disappoint everyone.
Okay.
Because I know y'all are all going to be upset about this. Like, you were just going to cry yourself to sleep over this story.
Cortana will end. Microsoft will end support for Cortana on Windows later this year. Microsoft ending support for Cortana in Windows. In its support page, the XDA developer in Windows Central, the company says it will no longer support Cortana on Windows as a standalone app. Starting later this year, Cortana discontinued on Windows doesn't come as much a surprise. During its build conference in May, Microsoft announced a new Windows Copilot tool.
Oh, yes. So, let's see. Which will live in your taskbar and use AI to help you do everything and more that Cortana does once it's widely released. That includes summarizing content, rewriting text, asking questions, adjusting your computer settings, and more. Microsoft first brought Cortana to Windows 10 in 2015, allowing you to set reminders, open applications, and ask questions using voice commands. Over the years, though, Microsoft has been gradually phasing Cortana out of the Windows experience. The digital assistant lost its prominent position on the user's taskbar with the release of Windows 11 and no longer appeared in the first boot experience. Microsoft also shut down the Cortana app on iOS and Android in 2020 and ended support for Cortana in its Surface headphones and other devices. It's not clear exactly when Microsoft will remove Cortana from Windows, but it is clear that Microsoft's growing suite of AI tools, which includes its Bing chatbot and Microsoft 365 Copilot, is taking first priority. Even though Cortana is going away in Windows, Microsoft says it will still be available in Outlook Mobile, Microsoft Teams Mobile, Teams Display, and Teams Rooms, but who knows for how long.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Cortana really was never that great of a Copilot. Now I've played with the Bing Copilot. That's a little bit problematical for me. I don't really like Bing either.
Yeah, I'm Microsoft's trying with Bing. I will give them credit. They are trying.
Yes. I
But
miss
that-
Paperclip.
Oh, yeah. No, see, no one misses Clippy.
Uh-huh.
No one misses Clippy. Fuck
Yes.
Clippy.
Clippy was very useful.
Ding, 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 ding.
He popped up when he thought he could help, and then he went away.
And never could help. And
But he
never
went
could
away.
help.
But he went away. Sometimes that's the best help they can do, is just go away.
Yes, I know, but still having to sit there and like, no, go away.
Now, the summary one I'm looking forward to, because
Paperclip was at least cute. I will say that. Paperclip was at least cute. I'm with Brenda on that one. So Brenda badmouthed Cortana, and Google and YouTube crashed and closed. Ouch.
Yeah. Now I'm looking forward to its being able to summarize things, because that can come in useful at least once a month if it could summarize some articles for us that I'll put out.
Yeah, no, like Cortana's not useless, but I will say it was not everything it was chalked up to be.
It was
like I never could get comfortable with it.
Well, it was like Jeeves's baby sister that was annoying. You know, he the one I like that will do things.
Well, I mean, Cortana, like I gotta say, Microsoft gives it the worst introduction in installing like Windows 10.
Right.
Is like, hi, I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help. And she is totally useless in Windows setup.
Yes.
And what's really annoying, and I think probably a good portion, is IT people hate this program.
Right.
Not because it's bad, not because of anything but the Windows setup experience.
Right.
Because you need to realize that if you're setting up a lab full of computers that all have sound attached, you're talking about 25, 100, 150, whatever number of computers in that lab, all being simultaneously set up, all simultaneously hitting that same step, and in unison, but not
talking to each other.
Yeah, basically all suddenly in an echo going, hi, I'm Cortana. I'm here to help. This has traumatized a lot of IT people.
Yeah, I'm sure that, that she has sent people to therapy, especially when, what she was described as was supposed to be your digital assistant. With so, I'm glad Microsoft is firing her, because she's a poor assistant. She doesn't even take good notes. Her alarms suck. There's multiple reasons with her. So I'm glad she's leaving. I hope they bring Clippy back, because at least he was useful. I'm interested to see what happens when, he comes back.
Maybe. You might get Clippy back. Like one day.
Yeah. At
least
he would summarize and look up words and structuralize sentences. That would be nice.
Yeah. And I think we're starting to get there. I really do. There are benefits to AI driven programs like ChatGPT. Like we've talked about that a little bit on the show. And I'm sure the Bing chatbot will eventually get there as well.
Right.
Of being able to take on some tasks.
Right.
That are like, look, I'm dyslexic. I need you to write a paragraph that explains to a customer that we're sorry, politely, we're sorry, we can't do X, Y, and Z for you.
Right.
And it actually create a nice general email.
Right.
That can be useful. Like these are within the easy realm.
Right.
But it's just getting it integrated in a way that users can talk to
Right.
and work with. Because I think that's going to end up being one of the stumbling block issues, or has been one of the stumbling block issues, for users with differences of ability, including like dyslexia.
Right.
Like, it's really hard for someone who is dyslexic to sit there and try to type in a way that's gonna make sense, or consistently to get the right information into an app.
Right.
But if you can talk to them, that works really well.
And it does. And I think that, that may take some work off you, because there's times I will send him a 3-line thing of, this is what I want to say.
Retype this and make it sound nice.
Yes. Instead of like, no, go away. My appointment's closed at 4 a.m.
Yeah. Or translate this to English, please.
Yes.
And it's like, well, it started in English. And it's like, oh, no, it didn't. No, not always, no. Like, sometimes it's figuring out, like, are you talking about this? And it's like, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Okay, cool. What? It happens. It's okay. It's part of it. It's just, it is part of it. And, like, it happens for anyone with dyslexia. It just happens.
Right. Sorry, I was laughing about something else.
Oh, okay. Stepford Wives in stereo.
Nope, I'm over in Polyville, and there's someone that's you ever send messages to your partner, message to a partner and think just a poly thing? Apparently, their partner was DMing them memes and funny stuff. They were on a date.
No, don't send messages to your partner while you're on a date.
Yeah.
It's really rude to your date.
Yeah.
And it really sucks when you have to apologize for your partner when they get home from a date. Like, I'm sorry, I swear to God, he left the house better trained than this.
Right.
I don't know what happened.
Right. But, apparently, I'll talk about that in a minute. But no, apparently their partner was on a date, and they just kept, the partner that is on the date is blowing up the partner not on the date's phone with memes and funny crap and TikTok, and they're mortified. It's like, you're on a first date. Go be on a first date. Leave me the fuck alone. I got a bubble that I have to enjoy.
Like, no, I'm fine. Go away. Oh, yeah. So Brenda actually worked for someone that I had to retype things for. Nice lady, but her written messages, etc., always sounded harsh and mean.
Yes.
Yep.
Right.
Like, there is an art form to business ease.
Yes.
And being able to say things in a way that are polite, professional, and still make the same point, but are you fucking kidding me? There ain't no way in hell we gonna be doing that for you.
Right.
Like, and just rewrite it to, we're sorry, that's not a service that we can provide for you right now. We look forward to being able to help you in the future. It's two totally different messages. They get received two totally different ways. They say the same damn thing.
Right.
But one of them gets rid of the customer permanently. The other one goes, oh, shucks.
Right. Alrighty then. So moving over, let's talk Liverpool. Hello, Liverpool. How are you?
Yay! So Liverpool to host Kiev Pride March on behalf of Ukraine. So yay, and a message of solidarity and unity. So Liverpool City Region Pride Foundation will hold its Pride March jointly with Kiev Pride in July, with events through the Ukrainian capital being banned since the Russian invasion of the country in February 2022. The Pride March on Saturday, 29th of July, comes after Liverpool hosted the Eurovision Song Contest on behalf of 2022 winners, Ukraine, a move which organizers have said gave a massive boost to Liverpool's queer scene. No matter where you are in the world, LGBT plus people demand the right to live freely and happily, Andy Herring, LCR Pride Foundation's chief executive, said. Even in the UK, we are all aware of how easily these rights can be backtracked or removed entirely. That is why we are proud to share our march this year with the LGBT plus community of Ukraine. It is a message of solidarity, of unity, and hope for people here in Liverpool and in Kiev.
Yeah.
So, a spokesperson for Kiev Pride, which was established in 2012 as Ukraine's biggest LGBTQ plus event, said the international solidarity has given the community a chance to celebrate after the Russian invasion took our right to march away from us. Meanwhile, Liverpool City Councillor Harry Doyle said, what better way to ensure the legacy of Eurovision continues than by using our city's voice of compassion, passion, and solidarity and sharing it with those who are currently prevented from doing so. Ukrainian MP Ina Sovsun recently put forward a bill calling for same-sex partnerships to be legally recognized in the war-torn country, saying every day Ukrainian LGBT military personnel put themselves in danger protecting us. Yet, if they are in relationships, the state does not recognize those. This means that their partners do not have the same benefits as those in heterosexual relationships. Ukrainians can no longer wait for equality. We must do it immediately. LGBT Ukrainians deserve to have a family. Every day can be their last, just like any other Ukrainian. There is no time for hesitation. Let's legalize same-sex partnerships this year.
And this is an about face. For those who are not aware of, this is an about face. This is a strong about face from with the Ukrainian vision, because Ukraine has been, was said to have concentration camps or retrainment camps.
Mm-hmm.
But this war is like, we got to step up with the world.
Like, yep, we'll get there really quickly.
Yep.
Like, yep, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because that can sometimes be the reality of being at war with a country is what's your difference? Mm-hmm. What the hell difference is there between the Ukraine and Russia? Why are you fighting so hard to keep the two separate?
Right.
It's sort of like, the 1940s between, the rest of the world and Germany.
Right.
And the number of things that we did with, like, national religion, putting in God we trust on our money, one nation under God in the pledge.
Right.
Like, all of that was, efforts at differentiating between the U.S. capitalist society and, German communism. So,
yeah, but, and it's going to get interesting over the next few years. Watching the U.S. trying to separate itself from Russia,
mm-hmm.
instead of making good bedfellows with it, which has been weird. Very weird. Okay, so let's go to the View, and then let's take on this 5-page relationship agreement.
All right.
5 pages, God. Okay, anyhow, go for it.
Yeah. So Zoe Zephyr tells The View why Republicans are attacking trans people and why they will fail. So Montana politician Zoe Zephyr has opened up to The View's Whoopi Goldberg about being banned from the State House and why anti-trans politicians won't win. In April, Zephyr was censured and banned from the Montana House for the remainder of the 2023 legislative session after speaking out against anti-trans Senate Bill 99. The bill, which was signed into law by Governor Greg Gianforte in April, bans gender-affirming care for under 18s, preventing access to physically reversible puberty blockers and surgical procedures. This is despite no private or public healthcare system routinely offering gender-affirming surgery to anyone in that age group. Zephyr returned to the House on May 2nd. On Thursday's 1st of June, The View, Goldberg asked if she was shocked by what had happened. Quote, "It was less about banning me from the ability to speak, but what that means is they took away 11,000 constituents who had elected me," she replied. "The thing that's shocking is what are they willing to throw away to achieve their policy goals, and here is the first principle of our country of elected representation." Speaking about Senate Bill 99 and other anti-trans laws, Zephyr said it was important to note that trans health care begins with social transition, including allowing therapists to use the correct pronouns for a child. These laws ban, quote, "health care that is done slowly, carefully, in conjunction with parents, doctors, and therapists, in accordance with every major medical association's guidelines," Zephyr said. When you take the healthcare people needed, when you take the healthcare, when you take the healthcare people need to live fulfilling lives, to have that pursuit of happiness, you create conditions where life becomes very difficult, and that's why we know that youth who have access to gender-affirming care have a 73% reduction in suicide. In my state, we heard examples of one trans teen who attempted suicide while watching one of these hearings, and that's the impact when you take healthcare away. Zoe Zephyr says anti-trans laws will fail. So co-host Joy Behar noted that Republican legislators have introduced nearly 500 anti-LGBTQ plus bills with at least 15 states, including Oregon, Iowa, and Alaska, considering new laws that aim to stifle LGBTQ plus discussions in schools. Why are they doing this? Comedian Behar asked Zephyr. There's an attempt to other us and create a boogeyman to rally their base, but ultimately it will fail for the same reason anti-gay bills failed in the 90s, because you're never far from someone who's trans, who's LGBTQ. On Twitter later, the transgender lawmaker said anti-LGBTQ attacks have never been about policy. Those who hate us won't be satisfied until we're removed from public life entirely. So Zephyr has previously told Pink News Republicans are masking America's real issues by stirring up fear of a transgender boogeyman.
Right, and we know this. This is, they're doing this to cover up the war in Ukraine, to cover up the global economy crisis, to cover up, I don't know, the current, all the sex crimes being discovered throughout the states. And what's interesting is I was watching a documentary last night about the connection to some of the Scientology stuff that is seeping into these LGBT bills.
Really?
Really. It's very interesting that, they're trying to handle the non-medication, like some of these laws could be used even to die, anti-seizure medicines.
Okay.
Because they mess with your hormones. And the way the bills are written, it's very close to Scientology writers.
Okay, so it would also depend upon, okay. Are we talking about meds that may be used off-label because that is one of their effects? Or are we talking about, like, literally anyone with a seizure condition, you're going to get lumped into this group?
You could be lumped into this group by a pharmacist. It's like the same thing that has gone on with birth control in the South. Mm-hmm. Ladies, if you're on birth control, you may want to talk to your doctor and making sure to have backup pharmacies ready, because Rite Aid is currently in trouble for denying birth control in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Because
so these are pardon?
Because of the abortion laws.
Right. And then you poorly write a law.
Right.
Especially regarding reproduction, and medications related to that. And yeah, it can be easy to go, are you going to also include birth control? Are you going to also include, like, what all are we including?
Mm-hmm.
Because depending upon how you write that law, you may inadvertently write in a few different forms of just birth control, not. And that is making a sincere separation between abortifacient drugs,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., drugs that stop a pregnancy from occurring, conception from occurring
Right.
directly,
Right.
and drugs that are preventative of even the ability
Right.
to get pregnant.
Right. But
Now,
and these are the poorly written laws. Well, and now they're doing, some medications that are used during transition, some puberty blockers that were designed not to just block puberty but prevent other things, like what is it that Abraham Lincoln had?
hell if I know.
Alphoid
A
syndrome.
hole in his head is what he had.
No.
Well, he did. Sorry, inappropriate humor, but
Yeah, it's Marfan syndrome.
Marfan syndrome.
Right, which is a rare genetic disorder where the body continues to grow when it hits puberty. So you want to delay puberty so that you don't have a 9 foot 15-year-old.
Yeah. Well, and that can be a giant issue
Right.
for a lot of people. And yes, it is hormonally related.
Right.
So you are trying to offset some of the hormones
Right.
so that as you're going through this process in your life, in your body, you can like go, okay, we're going to pump the brakes here.
Right.
Like you don't want to be like 7'9",
Right.
or 9'10", or
Right.
10'11".
Right.
That would be insane.
Yeah. But
Um,
if you are diagnosed with Malfoy syndrome, you now have to move out of these non-gender affirming states, not because of gender affirmity, but because you can't get medically treated in that state, because now that therapy, that medical treatment, has been banned.
yeah. Well, and I also wonder what they're doing for, like, if they're also involving directly hormone replacement and inadvertently putting it in the same category.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of women that go through menopause,
Mm-hmm.
and hormone replacement is an option that they have, and some people, it is the best thing that ever happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
And some people just grow a beard and get over it.
Right.
Sorry, that's an old joke, and I couldn't resist it. What? It is an old joke.
Right.
But there's also issues that one can face that are, and that's one of them.
Right.
That have nothing to do with trying to transition. It's just trying to fight your body's choice
Mm-hmm.
to like end doing what it's supposed to,
Right.
or never starting to do what it was supposed to,
Right.
or suffering a traumatic injury that causes it to no longer do what it was supposed to.
Right.
Like there are a lot of people that have accidents or cancer or
Right.
whatever that end up on replacement hormones.
Right.
Has nothing to do with about transitioning.
Right.
Has everything to do
Right.
with about actually maintaining their identity,
Right.
instead of being overwhelmed in a sea of hormones or completely devoid of them,
Mm-hmm.
because their body no longer does that.
Right. And no longer, and when they reach current stage, they reach current stage.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, what? Where? Why? it's this very long tributarian idea of mine that, we need to watch the way the damn non-lawyers, anyone can become a senator if you got enough money. That has been proven in New York, is writing bills and writing stuff that it doesn't encompass other things. Diabetic medicine, that's a hormone replacement. Some diabetic medicines is a hormone replacement. Um,
Well, like one of the meds you're on specifically also has a fortunate, I guess, um, side effect of being very popular with people who want to lose weight.
yeah,
That's not its intent,
no,
but there are many doctors prescribing it to patients solely for its weight loss capacity.
right,
Nothing to do with it, like the issue that it treats.
right,
And it actually was bad enough that it caused a shortage of that and several other similar meds
right,
because that's how they were being used.
right. Ooh, Brenda says a friend is in his late 50s on something like that. His body decided, hey, let's start growing again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's well, and especially once you start getting older,
Mm-hmm.
like this is like puberty is. Let's just face it, puberty is a nightmare when you're of age to have it.
Right.
And that means your bones are still mostly cartilage.
Right.
And so this whole changing of height, changing of arm length and all that, those are things that your body is built to accommodate to an extent.
Right.
But trying or unfortunately having that happen to you in your 50s,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Right.
Not to mention the potential damage that can be done if you have like plates and pins and different things going on in your body due to injuries.
Right.
And now suddenly your body wants to like, oh, let's tack on a few more inches of height.
Right.
No, you do not want to be doing that.
Well, not only that, but that like the that affects heart, lungs. Skeletal structure is nice, but it actually holds things in place. Yeah.
Yeah. So Shannon's here with, I wonder if the "it's against God's plan" people would agree Viagra should be refused for the same reason.
Of course not. They're white Republicans. They've got an unwritten script for it all.
Probably yes.
They're the only ones that can afford that $300 per pill. Okay, point blank.
Oh, what? Viagra is no longer $300. It's not. I mean, generic Viagra is definitely not. Like, it's gone generic. Like, that shit came out in the 90s.
Right.
Like, it is off patent. I don't think there's anyone left taking name brand. Like, I think we got Viagra down under $2 a pill.
I don't think so.
I think we did. Oh, Shannon says, have you seen Gattaca? Know the montage where he lengthens his limbs to fit the dude's description he was replacing? Yeah, that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like that, that's gonna hurt. Like, and again, if you are a fictional character with this ability, you're probably mostly made of cartilage, not solidified bone. Because Jesus Christ, that would hurt.
Yeah.
Talk about a sucky superpower no one thought through.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely still is.
What?
All right, 25 milligrams of Viagra without coupon. Retail price is $2,675.
Oh, that can, like, in name brand or generic?
Name brand.
Yeah, because they're out of patent. Like, most of what you're going to buy now is going to be generic.
Well, even
That's what
for
I meant.
generics, it's
More important.
$400.
Hmm?
Even for generics, it's $400.
Seriously? Not per
Seriously.
pill, but for a month.
For 30 tabs, yeah.
Yeah, so, but that breaks down to what? 400 divided by 30.
$33 a pill.
Okay. Well, $13.33 is what I'm getting per pill.
Yeah.
On the generic,
All right.
just want to clarify that. Without any insurance or adjustments or anything else, that's 13 a pill.
Right.
Yeah, it's cheap with insurance, not as cheap without. Okay,
Right.
I thought we had finally gotten to a point we'd broke that down.
Mm-mm.
That, like, nah,
Nah.
because it's one of the oldest meds.
Right.
And we'll plug them even though we're not, like, good RX.
Yep.
Like, motherfucker, get you some good RX.
No, Shannon,
shop
that
that
is not as much as a trip to the strip club. At least not the strip clubs that I'm used to. Like, plan for $1,000 for a night at a good strip club.
Ouch. Strip coin would be more fun? What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's almost as much as a trip to the strip club.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jesus. Whoring ain't easy. I don't know what to say. Whoring ain't cheap. What y'all want?
Right.
Oh, Devin says only rich guys can get it up. Oh, Shannon says where I'm at, they cheap.
Shannon, where you're at, honey, they still have the $5 buffet.
Ooh, damn. Ooh, damn. Ooh, damn.
Sorry,
Well, this
I
is
know
true.
Charleston.
I know. Well, okay, guys, if you're watching this and you're not in West Virginia, let me relate a story that a friend of ours told us. It's a very short story. There is a local strip club chain, all right, and they have a location in my hometown. And he pointed out that he had been. And the best stripper of the night was an amateur, because it was an amateur night, so they allow people from the audience to strip. That was their best stripper, and she had one leg. Part of me is still intrigued. Like, you got to work twice as hard as a one-leg stripper.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has got to be twice as hard to try to hold on to the pole.
Well, see, here's my debate on that. In the since I understand the dynamics there,
Okay.
she's going to have more muscle strength in that one leg. It's going to be easier for her to hook and to go up and down that pole because of the inner thigh muscles. So I think she has a little bit of advantage. She should be able to do some things better.
Yeah, Devin's in the same boat I am. I'm intrigued. Here's the thing, though. I've only been to one strip club. We've told that story. It was an accident that I went.
Right.
Accident that I went. Quickly realized my mistake and left. So, I mean, I wouldn't have a good comparison basis.
Right.
But I'm just still sitting there going, I just want to know. How does one-legged stripper?
Right. Again, because most of the dynamic there is you want to balance your body weight on the center pelvis area. You want to make sure that you keep the pole kind of mid-center. And pole dancing is not easy. It's more physics than it is anything else, and then you got to make it look good. So it can be much easier for her.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just, yeah. Meanwhile, I'm finding it interesting. The three ladies in our audience seem to be quite familiar with strip clubs.
Right.
Whereas I'm like damn near a strip virgin.
Well, honey,
like I've set
ladies and me are like, yeah, this is how it's done.
Like I've technically set foot in a strip club.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a strip club when I went in. I seriously did not. I thought it was a restaurant. My mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But two, we do not stay for the show.
Well, let's grab a break and we'll come back and talk about this.
Alrighty.
Hi, this is Sandy Starr. I'm a psychic and I work on Keen, and I have been working on Keen for over 22 years. You can reach me on 01068. I deal with a myriad of subjects, but I do specialize in relationships, marriages, divorces, is he cheating, is she cheating, whatever the dynamic of the relationship is, I will guide you through. I've got amazing radar for cheaters, so I will tell you the truth if he or she is cheating. I can help with any subject you need me to help you with besides relationships, and I look forward to hearing from you. Again, you can reach me through Keen. My extension number is 01068. I really look forward to hearing from you and helping you with whatever you need me to help you with.
Hi, I'm Tracy Van. I'm a psychic medium and I work with tarot cards. I also practice Reiki and access bars. I would like to share with you what a reading with me is like. It is a blended reading of psychic and mediumship, and I deliver these messages exactly as they come through. I'm not going to mince words or add any padding. I am a professional, reliable, and honest communicator. I have readings available anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. You can book a reading with me at tracyvann.com. That's TracyVann.com. And no, I'll always tell you exactly what you need to hear.
Hey everybody, Natalie here from The Pendulum's Path. If you are in need of guidance, direction, spiritual connection, healing, or more, you have come to the right place. I have worked as a psychic and a medium for over 3 years, connecting people from all over the world with their loved ones, giving them insight and guidance into their current situations, their past healings, their blockages, and what they need to know in order for them to have a better future. It would be my absolute honor if you would come to my website at www.thependulumspath.com. Visit my shop. I have a whole bunch of crystals, oils, balms, mystery boxes, and more. And visit my services. I offer 15-minute, 30-minute, and 60-minute sessions. I also have email readings available if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session with me, or if you just want to try me out. I encourage you to come visit me at the Pendulum's Path, and let's get you back on the right track today.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here from Rowan Temple of Light, and I'm here to tell you about our events this summer. First up is Beltane in the Hills, May 13th, and that is from 1 to 6. We have entertainment, we have a bunch of vendors, we have a fairy photo shoot. It's going to be exciting. You having any questions, reach out to Earth Magic or to myself. After that, we have Central West Virginia Pagan Pride, August 19th. That's at Holly Gray Park from 11 to 5 for the day. And we will have Sarah Masters coming down from Pittsburgh to be our keynote speaker. We have some great classes for that. So if you want to get involved, reach out to Rowan Temple of Light at Gmail, or just follow us along on Facebook at Rowan Temple of Light, and we look forward to seeing you out in the community. See you there.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right, so I've completely lost comments.
Okay.
Like, I see they came in.
Yeah.
I see the box where they are.
Okay, so your computer's being mean.
Yeah.
I have a question. Are you against women going to the strip clubs?
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
No, I have no problem with that. I'm just more surprised.
Yeah.
Like when dudes go to strip clubs, I totally get it.
Right.
When women go to strip clubs, I just go, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now I'll tell you comparatively, y'all girls are mean in strip clubs. Like the shenanigans that go down with women in strip clubs compared to men is different.
What the hell is going on at the strip club? I thought people just went to see the boobies.
Oh please, honey, it's not see the boobies. It's touch everything, grab everything, handle everything, wrap 20s around everything, or hundreds or 500s, depending on how good the dance is.
Jesus, who can afford a strip club visit?
Oh, honey. A lot of people, that's still a very...
I don't have stripper money.
Well,
that's what I just learned. I don't have stripper money.
It depends on the services and the bottles you buy.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. Shannon says she was just a taxi, but she did turn the brother when he turned 18 to the more expensive one so he wouldn't get pink eye.
Oh, dear Lord. Strip club related diseases. There's a new one. All right.
Yeah. You know, a lot of things can occur in strip clubs. But no, there was actually some really good competition for pole dancers. And those are impressive.
Well, yeah, no, I'm totally cool with pole dancing. I like the fact that that's something you can do as exercise and take as a class that has nothing to actually do with stripping.
Right.
I think that's awesome.
Right.
You know, but as for like stripping, I don't have any problem with stripping. I really don't. I don't know. I never really had a huge interest. Like,
I like it for the dance. Okay, I like it for the fun. I loved when, you know, in a former life it was good. And then today, well, it's like you don't get into drag either. Like you don't care.
No.
And I'm like, leave me alone. I am watching the show, and you're like, whatever. Give me another drink. Yes. Scotch on the rocks, please.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm just there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like a friend of mine ruined. I will say, a friend of mine ruined drag for me.
Right.
That's my actual drag problem.
Right.
My introduction to drag.
Mm-hmm.
And drag shows, more importantly, at a club, was entirely backstage, beginning to end, all the way through the show. That's a different experience, and I'm just, it's kind of that, like, you can't appreciate the art for seeing the components.
Right.
Is where I'm at with that. It's this is going to sound bad, and their drag queen's going to write me hate mail. But I swear to God, I sit here and I look at a drag queen, and I'm going, okay, so that's a couch cushion that's been cut. That's either a bag of rice or that's, you know, a chest piece. Okay, that's probably either duct tape and or saran wrap. God, I hope there's saran wrap. You know, like that's a bodysuit. You know, that's like 6 layers of pantyhose. Like I get hung up on the individual pieces,
right,
and can't just stand back and go, "Wow, that's really cool." I'm sitting here deconstructing it.
Well, I know, but I really need to take you probably either to Stonewall or the Apollo, one of the two, and I think you can get lost in that.
Yeah. Actually, that's technically both my experiences with drag, because the other one was I worked a Guilford Green Foundation in Greensboro, North Carolina. They're a very old organization. Used to host Drag Queen Bingo. I think still does. We checked that on another show. They still do Drag Queen Bingo. Anyway, I was working the event, and we had to be there really early for setup. I had to be there. I, on behalf of an entire student organization,
had to be
worked an event.
Right.
So, you know, like, I'm it. Like, I was the only one that would show up.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, though, I was there really early, same time that the drag queen, one of the drag queens, the MC, got there
Mm-hmm.
to start her evening
Right.
preparations. So she came in as a man, she added a couple of layers, she went out for a cigarette, she came back in, she went out for a cigarette, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You saw the individual layers add on.
Mm-hmm.
So both times I got locked onto the, okay, what's different?
Right.
Like, what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw you 20 minutes ago, all right? Like, what did you do? Not like it was hard to figure out, but
Well, it can be. I mean,
well,
depending
yeah,
on
once
where
you get
they're
into
at.
that, yeah, once you get into the point in which it's just all about the makeup,
Mm-hmm.
that takes a few minutes
Right.
to be like, oh, you did eyeliner and you did eyelashes. I think multiple pairs, judging.
Normally 3. Okay, and we also
Oh,
have
and your
to clarify,
eyebrows moved.
yeah, we also have to clarify, you know, well, I can't take you there.
Dude, I'm sorry, there are places you can't take me? As in,
I was going to take you back to home base, but home base is now permanently closed.
oh.
So now all 5 clubs that I performed at are closed.
Okay. That sucks. But no, that's always been my problem is every time I watch a drag show, I'm just sitting there deconstructing
Mm-hmm.
and going pieces, 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 pieces in movement. That's pretty. But still, I'm just seeing the pieces.
Right.
I'm not appreciating the art. And I feel bad for that. I do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I don't go, is because I don't think it's fair that I'm just sitting there looking at it, you going, okay, that's a couch cushion. That's a, yeah, like that seems really rude.
Well, I'm going to take you out with our next trip out. You're going out, and we're going to have fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
We'll find a nice club to take you to and get you lost in it.
Oh, okay.
Or I'll take you to a freaking pageant, and you can get lost in that. Because that's
Okay.
because that's more Broadway.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, I just found out that 29 closed.
Oh, Warehouse 29.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, poor Warehouse 29.
You know, the one you
Well,
were.
it's probably not closed. It's just on its 15th name.
No, it's closed.
Oh, like gone?
Gone.
Physically gone? Oh, wow.
Physically, yeah. And that's the weird thing. Okay, can we take a moment? Let's, set the coffee cups down and come over here a second.
Okay.
If all clubs that I performed at, Warehouse 29 closed and pavement. The Palace, a lovely parking lot. Broadway, a lovely parking lot. The Driftwood, a lovely warehouse storage facility. All the clubs I performed at that were my home bars or I was on cast on are paved.
Yep. Pretty much, they're scorched earth.
Yep.
I mean, because it's one thing, like a lot of bars do change hands, change names, get reimagined, become better,
Right.
different subset of clientele, and that happens. People age out,
Mm-hmm.
and the bar has to stay in business.
Right.
So it reimagines and becomes something a little different or a lot different,
Right.
So that's normal, and I'm used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've heard of a few people go through that and they get very upset about it.
Right.
But yeah, the first bar I ever went to, some of y'all are gonna that are in Greensboro are gonna date me and call me old. The first gay bar I ever went to was called the Palms.
Okay.
It was in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
And it is now, I believe, a baseball stadium.
Probably. I just have one question.
No, I mean, it's like that's. I know that's what they replaced it with.
I know. I just have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the sugar daddy? Because you were too young to be going to the Palms.
Look, I was cute and dating and 19. All right.
Okay. Again, that's like saying you went to the Polo in Huntington.
I don't know. It was a lovely evening. I didn't drink. Like, I was very because one, I drove myself because I wasn't dumb. Like, a lot of things can be said about me, but I was like, I had already burned out the idea that any man was going to pick me up and take me back home on a date. So I always drove separately. Like, I made that mistake like 2 times. And went, never again. I will drive. I will meet you. I will follow you location to location. And I can leave at any time. Like, no, we're not doing the you pick me up and then I am your, victim / prisoner for the evening.
Both roles you enjoy playing, but anyhow.
Damn.
Yeah.
I bought you shit today. Be nice to me.
I am.
The hell? The NutriBullet is still in the box and can go back.
That's fine. I still have my mason jars.
Yes, he made a redneck NutriBullet.
It works.
It's redneck. It ghetto.
Yeah.
Oh, what has Brenda said? I'm sure it is comedy gold.
Okay. They couldn't make enough money to stay open after Aeson left. Well, honey, we're talking about more than a decade. And yes, when Miss Raven retired, they did lose a lot of money because no one was going to do 5 shows a week.
That's a hard ask.
Right. I mean, because it's... see here. 5 shows a week, that's 3 numbers, a big number, 3 numbers, so that's 6 numbers times 5. And for every number, there's about 3 hours of practice unless you know the song.
Yeah, that's a lot of time going into that.
Yeah. It was a full-time career, a great career. All right. So let's take on this poly couple. Insider, hello Insider, nice for you to be including us. This couple made a Google Doc of rules on how they fight, split finances, and hook up with other people, and they think you should too.
All right, so Millie Bola and Nick Pipperno are polyamorous partners of almost 13 years who created a living relationship contract in Google Docs. Their contract outlines how they fight, how they split finances, and how they vacation together. The 5-page contract gets a refresh every 3 years, which they say helps them feel stable in their relationship. When Millie and Nick went on their 4th date to a bookstore, they picked up a book filled with 100 questions to ask your partner before marriage. As they spent the day together, they worked through each question, both hungry to know if they could build a lasting connection. The couple never got married, but their answers were a great way to start planning what their polyamorous relationship should look like to them. Now partners of 13 years, Nick and Millie, have a 5-page contract outlining how they fight, how much time they spend together, and how they communicate on a day-to-day basis, among other relationship logistics unique to their desires and needs. Quote, we like to clarify everything so there's no misunderstandings and everybody's aware and feels empowered to partake in relationship negotiation, Millie told Insider. They also run Decolonizing Love, a social media-based initiative for educating people about polyamory, where they share advice and examples from their own relationship on TikTok and Instagram and offer peer counseling to others in polyamorous relationships. Their relationship contract helps manage expectations in their multiple relationships, but the concept can also benefit those in a monogamous dynamic where roles and the trajectory of the relationship are often assumed, leading to miscommunications or resentment. In many ways, a relationship contract can act as a precursor or a more fleshed out version of a prenuptial agreement. Relationship contracts ensure that every partner gets a voice. So Nick and Millie told Insider that they created their first iteration using non-monogamy expert Tristan Taormino's book, Opening Up, during the second year of their relationship. In the book, Taormino explains how polyamorous partners can negotiate boundaries, cope with jealousy, and manage time when you have multiple lovers at once. According to Millie, who has been polyamorous her entire life, it's important to never assume that someone needs what someone needs in a polyamorous relationship because each connection is unique to the partners who are a part of it. And since they have an egalitarian polyamorous dynamic where every partner and every partner's partner has agency in how their various dynamics work, a contract felt like the best way to iron out nitty-gritty details. With that in mind, Nick and Millie created their constantly evolving relationship contract in Google Docs, they told Insider. Millie said they viewed the contract as their relationship's Bill of Rights, so they wanted to make sure they left no topic unturned. They said they were willing to outline things like healthcare, safe-sex policies, and how they vacation together. When Nick started a second relationship 2 years ago, he and Millie revisited their contract, adding clauses about home-related finances since Nick started splitting his time between two homes. He also has a contract with his second partner, and Millie said she would work to make one with any other partners she dates in the future. Since creating the first contract, they decided to revisit it every 3 years or as needed. Because we're humans, we change and we don't know how things are going to change. So this gives us quite a lot of stability and awareness of where we stand on things, Millie told Insider.
I don't know. 5 pages seems like a lot, though.
I mean, it can be, but at the same time, 5 pages and you cover the entirety of your relationship, that seems like too little somehow.
I don't know. Let me check something.
Okay.
Where's my file folder?
Oh, Lord.
Let me bring up the backup dossiers.
Oh, Lord.
When we started, we had somewhat of a contract.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was 5 pages.
I don't remember. Like, as in a page count, I don't remember. Like, I don't think that was the important part. But then again, weren't we still doing, more than two?
Yeah, we were
Was
still
the
in more
dynamic
than
we were-
2, and it was just not working. It didn't work. A lot of people don't get it. We've gotten some heat for that, but I'm going to tell you what. That
Yeah.
book will blow up a relationship quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it was interesting. I recently commented on a forum.
Mhm.
It was Reddit, but anyway, because someone brought the book up and they were like, what are your problems with it? And so I outlined it and what my problems are. And someone actually managed to come back and be like, I don't think you're talking about the right book. And I'm like, oh no, I'm talking about the right book.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think you read it correctly. I think there are people that do read it and have good intent. And I think most of them that read it with good intent figure out quickly there's a lot of problems.
You're right.
And granted, some of those get implemented in a relationship, and then you figure out this is not going to work.
Right.
Which is your best case scenario if you're operating under more than two, is you figure out quickly what its malfunctions are.
Right.
And start backpedaling quickly.
Right.
Because, okay.
Let me get that so you can read that, because you had some good points in there.
Oh, okay. Oh, Lord. Oh.
Sorry, you're a little bit prolific. It takes me a moment to find it.
I do post a few things on the Reddit.
Like, I'm about ready to get him some writing contracts.
Yeah, and a second screen name. Because we can't go sharing all my stuff on Reddit. Not
There you
all.
go. And we're not giving away your screen name, just the post.
I know. Oh my goodness. I can't even see the links. Okay, but this is, I think, the right one. Okay, it is. So, what I said about more than two, generally speaking, it's an on paper sounds great, in practice doesn't work manual to polyamory. Specifically, its ideas on hierarchical polyamory are quite frankly a recipe for disaster for most people. It's especially couple focused and basically treats anyone extraneous to the core couple like a thought, as in that hoe over there, with little to no care or concern for the second class or worse positioning that they are putting people in. So long as the core couple remains intact, everyone brought in is just a pleasure device that is disposable according to the terms and conditions you agreed to. Fundamentally, the relationships modeled in the book are actually far from happy and are more so abusive and controlling. It's been called a reference manual for abusers, as it takes a Nurse Ratched approach to relationships, as in sounding completely calm and rational while asking things that on the surface seem reasonable, but in fact make the partners slaves to the agreement and devoid of their own autonomy, often poisoning their other relationships or even the ability to have other relationships due to the agreements, while simultaneously making negatively affected partners feel like they are the problem instead of normal human beings stuck in an unreasonable situation. For instance, agreements, contracts are basically praised in the book for their ability to make polyamory great. What usually happens is these contracts are made up by one partner and presented to the other, with the first partner making all the terms, all of which seem reasonable and sound fairly logical at the point in which many of the partners make them, which is typically before engaging in polyamory or developing meaningful relationships outside of an original couple that they started out in. Most of these agreements, no matter how long and complicated, scratch the surface in covering the Wild West that is having relationships with other people. But in its beginning state, this all sounds fine. Then you meet someone and they, for instance, invite you to spend the night as you grow closer. Nope, can't, verboten in the agreement. But you want to, so you go back to your partner and want to renegotiate the agreement, reasonably making the argument that yes, you did agree to that, but in the beginning you didn't expect to meet someone and have feelings for them, and frankly, you were more interested in just having sex in the beginning. The typical partner response is that you can't be trusted and are trying to leave the relationship, and furthermore, you signed a contract and all they have to do is say no, and you are stuck with what you agreed to. Regardless of what the actual issue is, from spending the night to condom usage or whatever, the result is the same. You made an agreement, your partner doesn't want to budge on something, and you're stuck. What comes next is predictable. Either you stay stuck in your first relationship and follow the agreement miserably, which often ends up in the second relationship ending because you are boxed in on following rules that one person created in your relationship with a second person for a situation that you never envisioned in the beginning. You cheat on the agreement, not the partner here, is what's really at issue is the agreement, not the person, and do what you want, leading to an explosive fight, or you exit the relationship because the agreement has made it untenable. Then, frequently, you become one of the many ex-poly people who never want to be in another poly relationship because your association with poly caused tremendous heartache, trauma, and damage to you, not because you're bad at poly, not because you're a liar and a cheater, not because you broke an agreement, not because you stayed, not because your second relationship was illicit, not because you were a bad person, or necessarily anyone is a bad person, not even because your original partner is a bad person, but because the construct of polyamory, even relationships, inside a contract is fundamentally impossible to create in a way that adequately creates a livable, breathable situation.
Interesting. All right, I just posted to our Patreon. I found the 100 questions.
Okay.
We're not going to do them live on air because that would be a really long show.
It would be a really long show. But my whole point was, it's not that I don't think that you could ever, like, and this couple has, and that's great.
Right.
I think, though, it's very hard to get the entirety of the dynamics, and even they are fundamentally saying this is a living, breathing document.
Right.
That has to constantly change.
Right.
And I think that's what's missing in my criticism of More Than Two is that, like, you both have to go into this.
Yeah.
You and whichever partner, whatever partners, that this is going to constantly evolve, that this is in no way solidified.
Right.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. And this is my big problem with More Than Two. There is like the, never having everything together. And 100's a lot. 100 questions. But anyway, just trying to build and grow things. In general, it's like, what is this? Where is this? Why is this gone this way, or what's gone on with this? Overall, it's like, I could see you living that, but I also feel like you have to be able to go ahead and do it.
Yeah. Well, and I think there has to be that overriding part of it. If you're gonna make a contract,
right?
If you're gonna do it, you have to accept the contract is the ideal situation,
right?
And that we don't live in an ideal world with ideal people, and shit's gonna happen,
right?
And fundamentally, this is about getting a consensus of what we expect to happen,
right?
And not rigidly, this is the only way.
Right.
It's not the way, the truth, and the light, so help you God. Like, that's not how this, like that. And I think a lot of it has to do with when we call it a contract.
Yeah.
That's how we treat it.
Right.
And I think that's fundamentally where it blows up for a lot of people, is a lot of very controlling people.
Right.
Like the safety and security of having everything ironed out in a contract, and the ability to throw it back in their partner's face when, you didn't follow the contract.
Right.
Oh, you didn't follow the contract. You lied. You cheated. You stole. You blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, yeah, it becomes very abusive.
Right. And it's just like, not really good. Not really current, because our relationship changes daily. We would be in renegotiations almost every 3 months, not 3 years.
I remember when we were.
Yeah.
Like, that was the part of, there was a problem with us for the contract, is like it trying to keep it as, before we figured out very quickly, this is a general guide, not like, this is not codified law by the state of West Virginia, okay?
Right.
Like, that's not what we're working with.
Right.
Until we got to the point of, like, these are general principles and ideas of what we think is going to happen.
Right.
And then we're just going to have to deal with stuff as it goes through, not try to batch it up and deal with it all at once in a renegotiation.
Yeah. Because help.
Yeah, no. That's a very tense conversation, is what that becomes.
Yeah, that becomes a very tense conversation. And it's very tense when it's also depending on other relationships.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think the key part that they make in theirs that probably also helps this work for them,
right,
is that these are egalitarian,
right,
polyamorous relationships.
Yes.
And so all those relationships are equal to each other, even though they are entirely different.
Yep.
And that's sometimes the biggest difference between what More Than Two often advises,
right,
or often it speaks to.
Right.
Which is more of a hierarchical polyamory.
Right.
which is fundamentally you have a base two-person relationship at its core, and then all these other people, those hoes over there,
Mm-hmm.
are second class to the relationship. They will forever be. They are ruled and dominated by the core relationship.
Right.
Like, no, it's no.
Right. And again, you can't, in my opinion, in ethical practicing, you can't, dictate one relationship to another
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't work. It's unfair.
No. You break so many boundaries.
Joe, you're frozen. Let's take a break and we'll see if he can get his computer functioning.
What? Hello, I'm here.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back. So yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay.
But yay. So where were we?
We're going to take a break.
Okay, let's take a break. I'll refresh.
Okay.
Oh
Hi,
goodness.
this is Sandy Star. I'm a psychic.
Hey everybody, Lady Gwendolyn here, and as a certified spiritual life coach and shadow practitioner, I have thrown together everything that I have learned to develop a program that works for healing our shadow self and focusing on how we're going to heal ourselves for the future. I work with different types of energy work, such as EFT, TFT, and EFT energy. Reiki, access bars, and power forms. I've put them all together to create my own system that works. We also work with the tarot and the oracle. So I'm not just an energy worker and a healer, I'm a psychic as well. So you can go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, find out all about me, and book with me on there. I love you guys, and I will see you out there.
Welcome back, Goblins! My name is Jason, and I am the host of the Esoteric Book Club, a podcast that examines titles on the magical, paranormal, the mysterious, and the strange. I release 2 episodes a month in which I review books on esoteric topics, recap news of the weird, and conduct interviews with authors, practitioners, and experiencers. The Esoteric Book Club can be found on every major podcast service or can be streamed directly from esotericbookclub.org.
Hi, I'm Aeson Knight. I've been working as a psychic for more than 20 years. I was born with psychic gifts at the age of 3. And with that, I'm able to help you with your love. Relationships get very complicated. I help you understand what's going on, where it's headed, where your next love is, what the lesson is, and how to improve that. I also work in career and dealing with career fields and different job opportunities and things you would like to experience in your life. I use the tarot. My favorite deck is the Gilded Tarot. That's what I normally grab. But I also read angel cards. I also read Ascended Master cards. And I use astrology and numerology in your readings. All that tied in together with my clairvoyant skills, I'm able to get in there and answer your important questions quickly, clearly, and fast. I look forward to talking to you. You have a great day.
Welcome back, and I believe Joe's back with us. Yes, lovely.
I am. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, that was a horrible time to drop connection and go on a sneezing fit.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't fun for me.
Hey, so, we have a segment called Are You an Asshole? Let's move to that one.
All right. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he'll probably end up bitter and alone? I, 22 male, have a brother, 27 female, and sister, 29 female. My brother didn't have an easy childhood. He was bullied at school, and the other kids would tell teachers he was the instigator. They believed them, and my parents believed the teachers. As a result, my brother grew up quite isolated, and anger became his main defense mechanism. He tends to fly off the handle quickly and lashes out at any and everyone. We never had a close relationship growing up, but we bonded as we got older over how our childhood affected us all. Sis, as the eldest, felt conspicuous or copious amounts of pressure to be perfect, and I, as the youngest, pretty much raised myself. Our parents have since apologized, but to be fair, they grew up thinking financially providing for your kids and not beating them was the epitome of good parenting. They didn't know where they were going wrong at the time, and we were too young to articulate how we felt. We've had several open conversations about it since. They've apologized, and we've been a united front for the last 4 or 5 years, minus some hiccups. We were at our parents' house over the weekend, and my bro left a plate on the side after mom had just done the dishes. My sister told my brother not to leave it. He got defensive, and they started arguing. It was petty back and forth, normal sibling stuff, until my bro hit below the belt and said he doesn't know why she's so pressed about a plate anyway. She has bigger things going on in her house to worry about. For context, her and her husband have had money troubles and recently borrowed money from us to cover their mortgage. Sis didn't say anything, just started crying. I stepped in and told him he'd gone too far. He needs to learn to control his anger because all he ever does when faced with any minor conflict is go for the jugular, and no one with any self-respect will stay around him. He's never been able to hold a relationship, girlfriends or friends. I went on a spiel and ended by saying his rough childhood doesn't give him license to be an insufferable prick who will probably end up bitter and alone. My dad and sis agree and think, though harsh, it's something he needed to hear, but my mom thinks I was out of line. We've spoken about therapy before, had many heart-to-hearts, but he's firmly against therapy and just doesn't change. To be honest, I love him, but it's exhausting being around him sometimes. I thought tough love would help, but he's blocked me on everything, so I think I may have gone too far. Am I the asshole? Oh, I see the hamster struggle.
Yeah, in multiple directions here.
I mean, part of me has appreciation for what OP did.
Okay.
Part of me also goes, I think you, like, that wasn't the way, that wasn't the moment, and that wasn't the how.
Right.
Like, I understand his point, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Is that, like, I don't think you're wrong.
Right.
In that, yeah, given what you've outlined, that's probably how that's going to end up. Like, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're very much hitting the nail on the head that that's how his life's going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that anything you just did, and in fact, I think everything you just did probably pushed it backwards, away from a solution, instead of toward one. As in, I think you just undid every, like, heart-to-heart, long conversation, etc., in one moment by no longer being someone he respects and looks up to and has that kind of, like, connection to. Because this is someone lacking connection, obviously. You made that quite clear. That doesn't really have strong relationships with anyone.
Right.
And you just blew that up.
Right.
I don't think that was...
You just flat out tell someone they're a loser.
Pretty much what you did there, yeah.
Wow.
I don't think that's what you mean, or what OP means. I really don't think it is.
Right.
I I think it has more to do with you're recognizing traits that he has that are basically don't play well with others.
Right.
Sums it up nicely. Does not play well with others. Needs to learn how to play with others.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bigger point. Yeah, I think you are the asshole in this situation. That's where I'm at.
Right.
I think this was your worst possible move, and you probably did so much damage with it. I really don't have anywhere else to go, but you're the asshole.
Well, I understand that, and that's where I'm at too, but I'm also wondering what's the dude's deal?
Okay.
Okay. Meaning, what's the deal? Why is he this way?
Well, I mean, OP kind of puts it towards, this is like unfortunate coping skills he learned growing up from being bullied
Mm-hmm.
and not being believed by teachers. And then also having his parents believe teachers over anything he had to say.
Right.
So it's created someone who's very angry and defensive.
Right.
That doesn't feel like he's going to be listened to, doesn't feel like he's being listened to, and goes on an all-out war attack instead of trying to like explain himself calmly, you know what I mean, like trying to work through to a solution.
Right.
And accepting that, okay, sometimes you're just not going to win. Sometimes people are going to think the wrong thing.
Right.
Which I can understand. Like if you were constantly beat down and told you are not the, no one believes you, no one's, people are beating you up,
Mm-hmm.
blaming you for starting it. Everyone believes them, not you. Especially your parents are right behind the teachers, and in not believing you, never having your back, never taking your side, never listening to what you have to say, never finding a way to figure out if what you're saying is truthful.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, you're never getting the vindication of, aha, I was right.
Right.
Like I told you what happened.
Right.
There's no amount of hugging it out, at the end of your 20s, or, basically,
Right.
in your mid 20s, that's going to fix that. Like, that needs therapy and a lot of support.
Right. But the other party has to be ready for therapy, and he doesn't want therapy.
Right. And that more so means he's not ready.
Right.
Like, he has, even though you would think he's at rock bottom,
Mm-hmm. He's not.
He still wants to keep digging and has to hit his own personal rock bottom where he's like, this can't get worse.
Well, I think not only that, but he has to figure his own self out. And I feel like at his age, he hasn't had that.
Well, but then again, there's a very strong possibility some of this is working, some of this is just life's kind of shit in your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it may be that, like, there's just, it's not been bad enough yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't hurt him bad enough.
Right.
That, like, and he's started to make the connection that it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Right.
I'm the common denominator here. This is why all this shit's wrong in my life is me.
Right.
I need someone to help me fix that. And that sounds like where he's still at. And that's not uncommon for someone, like, in this mental, like, situation. And some of them go on and live into their 50s, 60s, 70s, and to death.
Right.
Stuck in this trap that they're the problem in their life. They could have a much better life They just need better coping skills.
Right.
Instead, they just don't have them and they never get them.
Right. And I think that part of that, however, is that they don't get them because they're not allowed to, because everyone, cuckolds them. Runs in, rescues them, everything else.
Well, but in this particular situation, that would probably be part of like a healing process for this person.
Right.
Is he's not being coddled and ever. He was thrown to the wolves as a child.
Right.
And no one ever showed up to rescue him. No one ever showed up to believe him. It's like he started his life at the boy who cried wolf that no one believes.
Right.
And never had the moment where someone's like, no, I think that's you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't think that happened. I don't believe that. I don't think you did that. I don't think, and I'm going to help you prove it.
Right.
I'm here for you. I believe you. I got your back. He constantly got, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem.
Right. But
in that context, when it wasn't true.
Right. But the other page of this is he's now in his 20s.
Right.
27.
Mm-hmm.
How long is he going to carry the elementary school shit?
The reality is most of us learned everything we needed to know about life in kindergarten. Like, it takes a lot. No, seriously. Like, it's weird. Early elementary is when we learn most of our coping skills and how the world works. Everything after that is just tweaking and nuance.
Okay.
For most people.
Right.
Like, who you are somewhere between the ages of like 5 and 12.
Right.
Not that far off of who you will most likely be for the rest of your life. A little bit better, maybe a little bit worse, but that kind of locked in then, and it takes a lot of work beyond that point to really change you. And you have to want that, and you have to choose that, and you have to choose to work towards it, and you have to choose to think different, believe different, and do different. Some people do have an epiphany,
right?
And they recognize that, my God, I'm a shit. Like, I mistreat people. I've used, like, whatever it is.
Right.
And they seek help, or they at least acknowledge the behavior and then start looking for ways to remove that, or ways that they're using that, and start trying to erase that from who they are. It doesn't mean that's not going to still be their first thought and what they go to in a when they feel attacked. That's going to be their first belief. That's going to be their first thought. This is hardwired into their brains. You can change it, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be the first response, and they have to take a moment and go, okay, that's one version. Now, what would it look like if it were different?
Right.
And
but
then
I don't like that he attacked his sister over something other than he wasn't dealing with the plate. He was dealing with, situations going in her main life. So I think the brother's the asshole. I don't think it's an asshole to tell him that he's an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah. In my opinion. The poll's up, by the way.
Yeah, poll's up, whichever way you want to go.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a good solid on this one.
Right.
Like, I think you could sit here and debate it back and forth forever.
Well, I think that the brother's the asshole because his mother sat there and done dishes. All the dishes. For family and extra, like, get the woman some paper plates, damn it.
Yeah, I think we're beyond paper plates here, or, maybe, okay, fine, paper plates, whatever. But, like, the bigger issue being, it didn't really matter if they had paper plates or whatever. There was going to be something that evening.
Right.
Because I think what that was all about is he knew his mom had done dishes.
Right.
And he's basically looking to be exceptional.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone else brought their plates in. Everyone else's plates got done. You didn't bring yours in. And I think, as silly as it sounds, he just wanted his mommy
Right.
to go, okay, I'll do your plate. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have been a totally different person that evening. As silly, stupid as that sounds,
Right.
like, it's one of those things, like, when it's one of those things.
Right.
Sometimes you need to be coddled by your mommy and told that the fact that you didn't follow the rules and you didn't do what everyone else did is okay. Because I'm your mommy and I still love you and I will wash your plate. Like, it sounds stupid, but this is the level he's living at.
Okay.
Is what I think.
Okay. All right. So let's go to poly dating advice.
All right. Advice on planning and dates in different relationships. So I have a spouse, Kim, who I have been with for 8 years, and a partner, Jay, who I've been with for 3 years. Kim and I recently realized we've fallen into the long-term relationship trap of spending all our time together on logistics and life planning and very little on dating and fun. Kim is historically not the best date planner, thinks of ideas, but then we end up planning things together. Due to health and work, I've had less space for being able to plan things lately. Jay, on the other hand, is a fantastic planner and is always inviting me to do amazing activities on our dates. I have thanked Jay profusely for always doing this planning, as I feel guilty that I don't always reciprocate the planning, but Jay has assured me it's fine. Kim feels some jealousy that I'm doing all these fun things with Jay when Kim and I are not. I have explained that Jay is the one planning and not I, and if Kim wants to plan, I'm happy to go along with it. I do feel guilty for doing lots of fun things with Jay, but not Kim. Kim does understand and has acknowledged their own poor planning skills and knows they need to work on that. I feel like as a result, I should be doing more planning because I do want to have fun dates with Kim, but I just don't really have a lot of capacity at the moment. It's hard that it feels like it's all on me. Any thoughts, suggestions? Edit. Apologies, I think my ask was not as clear as I wanted it to be. No one in my life is upset with me that I do not have as much capacity to do planning. I am usually a great planner and have planned many fun times for both my partners. I was trying to get some advice on how to minimize jealousy when situations and relationships are very different, and how to create time for fun in long-term nesting relationships when capacity is low and life organizing is high. Thanks to everyone who has commented already. I know that I need to do more, but am trying to figure out ways to make the best of my current situation.
All right. So this is a novelty idea that I've had for a bit.
Okay. Creating a service that plans dates?
No. Executive burnout. Yes, it is executive burnout.
Mm-hmm.
You take 3 jars: a big jar, a small jar, and a little jar.
Okay.
Okay. You've done many fun dates with Jay. You've done many fun dates with Kim. You've done many fun dates in general, I'm sure. And there's a lot of things you want to go do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't plan it out as in Thursday at 4:45 p.m. we're going for a hike to Long.
Okay.
Simply take and you write it on a piece of paper and you throw it in a jar. Whichever time block it's going to take. A very big block, like all day. A little block that's like 4 hours, it's like 6 hours. Or a small block that's like less than an hour.
Right.
You throw it in a jar. You let Kim choose the jar that fits the time.
Oh, so basically Mad Lib a date.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that could work. Like, I think you could even do like the magnetic poetry version of it that's just like times, places, events, list of restaurants that you can write in.
Right.
And just like storyboard a date.
Right. Well,
This is it. Because fundamentally, that's what it all comes down to, really, at the end of the day.
Right, but then Kim could, instead of having to plan out the date, like she hears about you going zip swinging with Jay and fishing, and she wants to go zip swinging, but isn't comfortable swing fishing. So she just writes it on a piece of paper and throws it in the jar.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
That's when it's like, oh, well, I want to go to, and this is one of ours that's been on the list for a while, go over to Kimonos.
Yes.
Throw that
For a
in the
while.
jar. For a while, we've been wanting to get there, but they went through renovations, we had COVID and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Call it
It's
through.
been there for a minute.
Right.
Well, and there's a few places on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say the worst thing we do is sometimes we get so bogged down, we just forget to go, okay, that's it. Well, though, that is usually how.
That's how we go out to eat, dears. That's it. I've had enough.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what I was going to say was technically at this point, we don't plan dates either exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just we both look at each other and go, I'm sick of this shit. We're going out.
Right.
Like, that's it. And that sounds like a horrible beginning to a date. It does. Like, if you explain that to people initially and you just said nothing else, it's like, that's how you date?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's how we date.
Yeah.
It sounds horrible, but if you start with the, like, I guess you could call it, we go on dates of desperation.
Right.
Meaning that we have forgotten to plan, we have forgotten to do, we have forgotten to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And actually plan it. It helps that we talk frequently about different things we would like to do and places we would like to go and things we'd like to try and, all this. And so sometimes it's just the, like, moment of I'm sitting here going, if I don't get out of this fucking house right now, I swear to God, I'm just going to punch him in the face. For no other reason than I'm tired. I want to go out. He's tired. He wants to go out. It's obvious for both of us.
Right.
All right. What can I say to him right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is my date planning. All right. What can I say to him right now that is enticing enough that he will agree to go out? That's it. That's my date plan.
Mm-hmm.
More times than not, because that's where we're at, like, in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're busy, we're tired, we're stressed, we have a lot of things going on. No, I am not planning a 3-day adventure. I am not taking 3 days to plan an adventure.
Right.
We don't have time for this. He doesn't have time for it. I don't either. But
we will, but not right now. And here's
will
the
one
big vacation plan. We're going to this resort. We're checking in. I'm dropping the credit card off. I will see you at the pool. This is our room number.
Basically. But no, we basically mad lib it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the best dates are like, make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Get to the end of the road, left or right.
Right.
Keep going till you see something interesting.
Right.
Don't see anything interesting? Keep going. Left or right, left or right, left or right. You eventually got to end up somewhere or so lost that it's hilarious.
Right.
Like one of the two occurs. It's an acceptable qualified date.
Right.
Oh, so yeah. What's your best advice on this one?
Don't plan. Throw it in the jars.
Yep. Alrighty. Throw it in your jars, mad lib it together. And that can be a lot of fun. I think some people get overstocked on the idea that a date has to be this very complicated plan.
All right. I'll tell you, one of our best dates is when we went to an event. We stopped at Walmart's. We grabbed some subs. And then we trotted our happy little selves off to the park. Got some great photos while we were there. Had a great conversation. Watched a butterfly dance through the park.
Mhm.
ate our subs, and went and done a 16-hour event. Best time
Okay.
ever.
Yeah, that was a really good date. That one was quick, cheap, and easy. It truly was. All it required is we started just a little early to
Mhm.
go to the event. So we
Right.
had time to stop at that park that we had already seen and made note of.
Right.
Oh, look, there's a park.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, we made note of it every time we went to this particular venue.
Right.
Oh, look, there's a park. So it was really easy the next time we were going up to be like, oh, yeah, there's that park. Let's go
Right.
do a date there.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I think the best one, though you may argue with me,
Mm-hmm.
was also coming back from an event.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it involved an event. And we were both kind of tired that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we got somewhere about, I don't know, a third of the way home. And I think we were both kind of at that point of like discharged,
Mm-hmm.
like energy level wise, that like we just randomly said, oh, wouldn't it be funny? Because we happened to see a road sign.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd stopped for breakfast. We happened to see a road sign, a billboard or something, talking about, or maybe you were listening to a podcast. I don't know what it was. Anyway, we happened to be near enough.
Mm-hmm.
What is the stupid city? Mothman.
Yes.
Whatever. Anyway, like, and we just decided, like, screw it, we're throwing it in the GPS, we're going.
Right.
Whatever the stupid little city that Mothman is attached to. I can't remember. Mothlavania. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Mothlavania. Gallipolis? I don't know. We were coming back from Ohio. We had a lot of time.
Point Pleasant.
Point Pleasant. Thank you. Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And we had happened to see a sign
Mm-hmm.
that was pointing out while we had stopped for breakfast, you know, that like Point Pleasant was down this road so many miles, I think is what it was. Or there was a sign about Mothman on that road, like a billboard or whatever.
Right.
And it was like, screw it, we're going.
Right.
Screw it, we're going. And we did. We took off. We went.
Yeah.
Was it the best day ever?
Well, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
the picture
recommend
with the
visiting
Mothman
Point
statue.
Pleasant on a Sunday.
Yeah, don't go to Point Pleasant on a Sunday. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Everything's closed till late, and then when it opens, it's barely open.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun because it very was like like we're doing this. We're doing this. Like,
Yeah.
screw it. We don't have to be home. We don't like, because this was before Psychic the Plans.
Right.
We don't have to be home.
Right.
We don't have anything till like Monday afternoon.
Right.
And I think we could reschedule it if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, screw it, we're going.
Right.
Like, this trip, and it wasn't like it was a bad event or a bad trip, really.
No, it was a good event. It was a good trip. We had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
We took off. We've done that a number of times of getting lost. I mean, I was bear napped to Little Russia.
Oh, for the love of God, it was Wake Forest, North Carolina.
Little Russia.
He is still mad about a friend of mine's tobacco-free apartment complex in Wake Forest. And I mean that. It wasn't just the apartment was smoke-free. It wasn't that the building was smoke-free. The whole property was smoke-free. You had to go across the street to smoke.
No, you had to go across the neighborhood.
Yeah, it was one of those apartment complex massive things. It tendrilled.
Right.
So yeah, you had to drive all the way out of the little over
Yeah.
the river, through the woods to grandmother's house, blah, 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 blah. Turn, out of the parking lot, drive down a block, and then you can smoke.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just send a Patreon message. Video canceled for date night. Aww, we
That's
need to
a
do
great idea. We may end up doing that sometimes. Please be aware. Yes, and if so, we'll reschedule it on one of our free days.
True. We have free days?
Yes,
Okay.
Wednesdays and Saturdays. There is no
Okay.
programming on either network.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. So, and we might do a pop-up show on one of those nights, especially if like Psyche the Plans, that can definitely be a pop-up because, our planner's changing and developing. We're getting ready to do the mid-year reset anyhow in July. No, all right, let's see if you're an asshole. Oh, but no, plan them. Just have fun with it. All right, let's see if you're an asshole.
All right.
The poll is in. You are an asshole.
Okay. I am the asshole.
Yep.
All right, OP, you are the asshole for telling your brother he'll probably end up better in life.
Yeah, especially at 20. I mean, people are so much different at 20 than they are at 40.
Well, 27.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping it works out for the best, and this is the giant wake-up call slap to the head.
Right.
But I think you actually did more damage than good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wrong person to tell that to.
Right. All right. So, patrons, you have the 100 relationship questions you've asked your mate before marrying them. I'd like to hear your point of view on them. We'll follow up on another show about what our patrons said about the questions. Did they forget something? Is there a question you should ask? Where's that at? We will be back on Sunday with Psychic the Plans. Until then, I will be on network, so grab me there or book an appointment. And with that, we'll send it over to Joe and his department of the Patreon.
All right, so of course we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our Patreons receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com. And speaking of becoming a barista, you have 3 different levels to choose from, $1, $5, and $10 per month. Each of those all come with the same thing except one. That one thing being your discount with Aeson Night. And for the $1 level, you get a 25% discount off a reading with Aeson Night. At the $5 level, you get a 50% discount on a reading with Aeson Night. And at the $10 level, you get a 75% discount on a reading with Aeson Night. This also includes gallery readings, free classes, all kinds of goodies. So literally, you will get more for what you pay each month than what you're spending.
Yep. And this month's class is Candle Magic Intro. All right, guys. We'll see you later. Bye.